demands recounts. Campaigning in Bihar Assembly polls comes to an end before the third and the final phase of elections for the 78 seats on Saturday. The results will be declared on Tuesday. Union Home Minister Amit Shah visits West Bengal, says BJP will form two-third majority government in the state after next year's polls, accuses the state government of obstructing the benefits of the centre's schemes to the people. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar chairs the second CEO forum of the theme India's Climate Action, the pivotal role of private sector leadership, outlines India's outstanding performance on climate change mitigation, stresses developing countries need money to follow eco-friendly path. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair the virtual Global Investors Roundtable, top pension and sovereign wealth funds to participate, meet to deliberate on the accelerating international investments in India. And the United Nations adopts India's annual counter-terrorism resolution, co-sponsored by over 75 countries. The resolution was adopted by consensus in the UN General Assembly. Good evening and welcome to the newscast. I'm Amritpal Singh. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that BJP will build a golden Bengal if voted to power in the state after reaching Bankura. Amit Shah said that BJP will form government with a two-third majority in the state after next year's polls.
मैं निश्चित रूप से देख रहा हूं कि ममता सरकार का मृत्युगंड बच चुका है। आने वाले दिनों में यहां भारतीय जनता पार्टी की 2/3 बहुमत की सरकार बनने जा रही है। मैं आज बंगाल की जनता को अपील करने आया हूं कि बंगाल एक सरहदी प्रांत है। देश की सुरक्षा बंगाल की आंतरिक सुरक्षा के साथ जुड़ी है। देश की सुरक्षा को सुनिश्चित करने के लिए, बंगाल के युवा को रोजगारी देने के लिए और बंगाल के गरीब लोगों को दारुण गरीबी से बाहर निकालने के लिए इस सरकार को उखाड़कर फेंक दीजिए।
And Amit Shah alleged that common people, especially farmers and tribal communities in West Bengal, are being deprived of the benefits of central projects.
मैं ममता दीदी को बताना चाहता हूं कि आपके मन में भय है कि इन योजनाओं को रोकने से आप भारतीय जनता पार्टी को रोक लोगी, तो आपकी भ्रांति है। आप एक गरीब लोगों के लिए मोदी जी ने जो 6,000 रुपया प्रति साल भेजा है वो पहुंचने दीजिए, स्वास्थ्य की सुविधाएं पहुंचने दीजिए, शौचालय पहुंचने दीजिए, इनका घर उन तक पहुंचने दीजिए, तो शायद थोड़ा बहुत भी आपके लिए सोचेंगे।
The Union Home Minister visited the Chaturthi village in Bankura and met a tribal family there. Amit Shah took lunch with the tribal family. Earlier, he paid floral tribute to the statue of Birsa Munda. Shah reached Kolkata last night on a two-day visit of the state. Well, online nominations have been invited from panchayats or similar level local bodies for the National Panchayat Awards 2020. The panchayats or the village councils are to be evaluated for the work undertaken by them during the appraisal year 2019-2020. Online applications are open for entry by panchayats or village councils. up to 15th of November this month, 15th of this month. The states and union territories have to forward the online nominations after due verification to the Ministry of Panchayati Raj by the 15th of December 2020. The link for sending online nominations is panchayataward.gov.in. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today chair the virtual Global Investor Roundtable, or the VGIR. The VGIR is being organized by the Ministry of Finance of the Government of India along with the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. It is an exclusive dialogue between leading global institutional investors, Indian business leaders and the highest decision makers from the Government of India and the financial market regulators. The event aims at providing an opportunity to deliberate on further accelerating the growth of international investments in India. The Prime Minister shall be addressing shall be chairing and addressing the virtual meet in a short while from now. And as I said, the Prime Minister will be chairing this roundtable meet in a short while from now. The event will provide an opportunity to deliberate on further accelerating the growth of international investments in India. I'm joined by my colleague Arun Sharma, who covers the Prime Minister's office. Arun, first of all, tell us what exactly is this virtual Global Investor Roundtable?
All right, so talking about this important meet today that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to chair and also, of course, interact with the global institutional investors, the wealth fund managers. So the meeting primarily focuses upon that India is all set to highlight the important reforms that have been undertaken in last 6 years, and of course during the COVID pandemic time as well. This fact that during the COVID time, Amrit, that most of these wealth fund managers and of course these institutional investors have started winding up their positions from the stock markets and of course the debt fund market from various economies. But now after as the COVID crisis seems to be inching towards its last leg, and of course the vaccine development talks are also heightening up. So at this point in time, the investors all across the world are looking for a destination as to where the investments can be done. And 20 investors, primarily 20 global institutional investors who actually hold close to $6 trillion of assets under their management. That means 6 lakh crore dollar that's under their management, and they're looking forward to invest further. And at this point in time, where we are inching towards the year-end time, this is a time when most of the foreign institutional investors start to wind up their positions and look forward for making fresh positions from the new year. So at this point in time, they're looking for some lucrative destination in the market. So at this point in time, yes, whenever they invest in any kind of market, they look at the rating of that economy. As of now, when we talk about India's rating, most of the top rating agencies in the world, primarily that's S&P, Moody's, all they have reaffirmed India's stable outlook. So that's a big a positive point for India. Second important point, that a lot of reforms have been taken in last couple of months as well, and in last 6 years as well. Be it reducing the corporate tax. Now that the corporate tax that India is having as of now is close to 15%. Now this is the lowest number of corporate tax primarily in the world. Now all these reforms that have been taken in last a couple of months and last of course 6 years, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to highlight all this reformist approach and will try to attract these global investors primarily to invest in India. Amrit?
Also, we expect a lot of top Indian business leadership here. Could we see a cementing of tie-ups that could come out of this roundtable?
All right. So the kind of big corporate giants that we're expecting in this meeting includes Ratan Tata, Mukesh Ambani, Dilip Sangvi, Deepak Parekh, Nandan Nilekani. So all these top, primarily 6 top corporate leaders are also expected to join this virtual conference. The idea is that because we know this fact that these institutional investors, wealth fund managers do also take equity stake in various other corporate sector as well. So the idea over here is to highlight various reforms that have been taken by the Indian government. Second important aspect is that look at the way the stock market is performing. Indian stock market is one of those stock markets in the world primarily, which has already primarily entered the pre-COVID levels. Nifty as of now is trading at around, close to more than 12,100 levels. Sensex as of now is trading at around 42,000 levels. So all these comfortable figures primarily are enough to say the words that yes, India is that lucrative market that foreign investors would be having on their radar. Because look at this way, Amrit, the debt fund market or debt market as of now is offering a rate of close to 6 to 7%. Now this 6 to 7% interest or return on investment is primarily more than equity markets that some of the major economies are also offering. So yes, the debt market is very much safe and giving a better return on investment. So all these points will be looked upon by the various corporate investors or the global institutional investors, because whenever a global institutional investor is investing in any of the market, they look at two important points. Number one, what is the rating of any particular economy? Second important part is that what is the return on investment? So that's something very much competitive that India is offering as of now. So there are various other competitive markets like Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea for that matter. But yes, India is looking at the favorite destination because of the fact various reforms have been undertaken. Be it the manufacturing sector, be it slashing of the corporate tax, be it giving tax holidays to various startups in our country, and taking various reformist approach as far as taxation in our country is concerned. So all this put together gives a sense that yes, India has undertaken various reforms in last couple of years, and that is enough to attract these investors where return on investment is very much higher as compared to its global peers. Amrit?
Of course, the Prime Minister would make a pitch about the reforms, as you say, undertaken by this government. But could the PM, lay out his plans on how the ambitious project of making India a $5 trillion economy, where investors see it as a win-win situation, both by investing in this country?
So absolutely, that can be on the agenda because of the fact, Amrit, that recently Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his interview to a print media, primarily to one of the leading newspapers, he clearly mentioned this point that we are committed to achieve this target of $5 trillion economy. And in last couple of years, India has seen that whatever has been committed by the government, that has been achieved in last 5 to 6 years. So now the commitment was that to make India a $5 trillion economy. But yes, unfortunately, all the global economies were struck hard because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Right.
And now we know this fact that number of, or primarily the investment coming into India, or primarily foreign investment coming into India, is directly proportional to having a higher number of foreign investment or foreign direct investments. So 6 lakh crore, that's what I said earlier also, Amrit, that $6 trillion is asset under management of these 20 top pension fund managers, or of course the
sovereign wealth funds. Yeah.
Yes.
That's right, Arun. Also, Arun, could the Prime Minister highlight, the structural reforms that the government has made here by the government?
Absolutely. We have also earlier seen, Amrit, that on various international platform, global platform, and multilateral platform as well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has highlighted India's several reforms that have been undertaken. As I mentioned earlier, and as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also mentioned it on various other international and global platforms, is that the kind of reform that India has undertaken. Number one is about the corporate tax. As of now, the corporate tax that India is offering as of now is the lowest in the world. 22% for the current domestic manufacturing unit, and 15% for any kind of new manufacturing unit that has to be set up. So 15% kind of a corporate tax that India is offering, that is lucrative as of now. Second important part is that government has ensured that various tax reforms have been undertaken so far. We have seen that faceless tax assessment or e-assessment by the government, this kind of initiative taken by the government. On the other side, Vivad Se Vishwas scheme has been launched by the government, which gives a trust in the investors and the taxpayers, of course. So on the other side, various tax incentives, tax holidays have been given to startups in our country. Last but not the least, we should not forget this fact that India is an economy which is again coming back on track. Look at the way the PMI numbers, PMI, the manufacturing index number clearly showcases that the PMI is more than 50. Now, anything above 50 is considered to be very decent. Now, PMI number in India as of now is at a high after 2012 levels. So this shows that manufacturing unit of our country is coming back on track. Second important part is GST collections. Look at this month's GST, the last month's GST collection. It is again crossing the 1 lakh crore mark. So this shows that yes, GST numbers are again giving a comfort to the government that yes, GST collections are again coming back on track. Third is auto sales number. Look at the way the auto sales numbers are coming on month-on-month basis. The auto sales number are also very much encouraging as of now. Looking at the power energy or the power consumption, that is the numbers of the power consumption. So the power consumption has also started to increase. This shows that industries are now going forward with capacities expansion, and they are started again to switch on the lights so that yes, the industries can be started off once again. So all these indicators are enough to say that the Indian economy is an economy which is coming back on track. Saying, and let me also link it to the stock markets as well, because the Indian stock markets. Look at today's performance only. The Sensex surged by more than 600 or 700 points. So again, the stock markets are coming back on the pre-COVID levels. The pre-COVID level for the stock markets of primarily Nifty was approximately 12,700 levels. And we are again coming back to the same levels of 12,200 levels for the Nifty. So this shows that foreign investors are enthusiastic and they want to invest in India. Look at this way also that even during the COVID pandemic time, Amrit, the FDI, India received a largest, India was at the end of receiving the largest foreign direct investment even during the COVID pandemic time. So this shows that here the foreign investors, the institutional investors want to invest in India because of the fact that top rating agencies of the world, be it the Moody's or S&P, as far as the sovereign rating agency is concerned, they are reaffirming this fact that the Indian economy is very much stable. So the sovereign rating is very much stable. The outlook is very much stable. Now this has been told by the various top rating agencies of the world. Second important part, the return on investment. Look at this way. The stock markets, where these institutional investors are investing as of now, the institutional investors do earn close to 40%, 50% return on their investment. So these kind of investment number or the kind of return that they're getting as of now is more than, and it is offering, more return as compared to various other global peers. So yes, all these indicators put together showcase that India is as of now a global lucrative market or one of the lucrative markets. And yes, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is very much likely to highlight various reforms that have been undertaken by the government, be it the corporate taxes part or be it a mega package of Atmanirbhar Bharat, where 20 lakh crore of package was given, and major focus was on incentivizing the MSMEs of our country, and of course giving credit to the MSMEs of our country, or primarily 7 crore MSMEs to our country. So this showcased that how India is inching towards and coming back on track after this COVID-19 pandemic. And if in case the investment is coming to Asia, India will be that lucrative destination for the foreign investors.
Arun, for somebody who does not understand the economy, explain why this return is growing, why this enthusiasm amongst the foreign investor. You say there is a lot of return for him, and you're right. The FDI in this fiscal is the highest for the highest ever for the first 5 months of any fiscal. So why this enthusiasm? Why this great return on investment?
All right. So India is primarily a consumption-based economy. So imagine this point that 130 crore Indians consuming a product, 130 crore Indians consuming any kind of product. So we know this fact that these global institutional investors, either they do invest in various other stock markets, or they take stakes in various equities or the companies, or they invest by various other methods to invest in various assets of our country, or primarily any kind of company. Now, if in case any product that has been launched in a country like India, look at the way many global players are wanting to come and invest in India, to launch their products in India. It is because the 130 crore of India is providing a consumption-based economy. And as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also earlier mentioned this point, that India provides a larger demography, and of course a mass is being provided by India, economic infrastructure is being provided by India, and return on investment, that's the reason, is very much high to any of the investors who are investing in a country like India. Now, when any kind of global rating agencies, when they reaffirm their point that the stable of this economy is very much stable. So at this point in time, even the debt market of this the country or any of the country starts to perform. India as of now is providing 6% to 7% as far as the debt market is concerned. Now, this is a sure shot return to any of the investors investing in a sovereign investment of any country is concerned. So a 6 to 7% return. If you try to compare it with other developed countries market return also, they won't be in a position to give you a 6 to 7% return. There are many economies which struggle to provide such kind of return as well. So debt market competing with the equity market or the stock markets of other countries. So as of now, look at this way. The investors, the institutional investors from Singapore, US, Europe, Canada, Saudi. So all these investors primarily are looking forward to invest in India. Even during the COVID pandemic time, Amrit, we have seen that the global institutional investors did find very much values in various of the companies of our country, be it from the financial sector, be it from the oil and gas sector, be it from the digital related sector. Various stakes were sold to the foreign institutional investors or the wealth fund managers globally because of the value buying that the companies of India were providing, because of the fact the return on investment was very much higher for these kind of companies that the Indian companies were offering to the global institutional investors. This was the reason why these global investors are very much interested in coming and investing in India. The FDI numbers says it all. It was at all-time high even during the COVID pandemic time, and that's the reason why these institutional investors are more than eager to invest in India, and they're looking for a stable outlook of any kind of economy. And second, the return on investment should be very much higher, or primarily a safe and higher. So that's what India is offering as of now, and that's the reason these global institutional investors are more than eager to invest in India. Amrit?
Okay. Arun, I'll request you to stay on. So let's tell the viewer once again, the Prime Minister in a short while is to chair the virtual Global Investor Roundtable. This includes top pension and sovereign wealth funds from across the world who are participating in this roundtable. As my colleague Arun was saying, over 20 biggest, world's largest pension and sovereign wealth funds, and with a total asset under management of about $6 trillion US dollar are likely to be there in this meeting. Global institution investors represent key regions from across the world: US, Europe, Canada, Korea, Japan, Middle East, Australia and Singapore. We'll have, of course, as I said, the Prime Minister will be chairing this exclusive dialogue between the global institutional investors. The Indian business leaders will also be there, and of course the highest decision makers from the Government of India, the financial market regulators, Union Finance Minister, Union Minister of State for Finance, the RBI Governor are likely to be present in this occasion. And the VGIR 2020, as it's being called, will focus on discussions around India's economic and investment outlook, structural reforms, and the government's vision for a path to a $5 trillion economy, a target that India has set for itself. The event will also provide an opportunity for leading global investors and Indian business leaders to engage and deliberate with senior policy makers from the government and the regulators on how to further accelerate the growth of international investments in India. Foreign investments in India this fiscal, as my colleague was telling, was the highest ever for the first 5 months of any financial year. The VGI 2020 will also, of course, provide an occasion for all the stakeholders to foster and further cement strong partnerships that have been built, and further foster engagement between international institutional investors who are looking to increase their Indian investments. Arun, once again coming back to you, you were telling why India is a lucrative destination. Do you see in the trend that the institutional investors are investing in India, do you see them coming from particular regions of the world, or is it asset wealth manager and sovereign funds coming from all around the world?
So basically, if you try to understand the trend of these institutional investors, one thing is common as far as these global institutional investors are concerned. They look at the trend of the market and they start investing, number one. Number two, they make a collective investment. So if 20 top wealth fund managers, if they decide to invest in one particular market, looking at the fact that this market could be lucrative, other fund managers, other institutional investors also start to follow the suit to invest in that particular region. We have investors from Singapore. We have investors, if you look at the top investors primarily that are coming in the stock markets primarily, that are from Singapore, that are from US, of course, they are from US. If you look at the fund managers who are taking stakes in various companies, that includes from Saudi Arabia as well, that also includes from US as well. Even during the COVID pandemic time, we have seen that various digital companies in our country, various oil and the financial companies in our country, they have sold their stake even during the COVID pandemic time at a very attractive valuations. So various fund managers, the asset managers have of course purchased or took stakes in various big companies of India, because of the fact that lucrative value was offered to the Indian companies. And even during the COVID pandemic time, when globally the wealth erosion was happening, Indian companies were very much successful as far as offering lucrative values for the investors as well, and creating wealth for themselves as well. Last but not the least, Amrit, we should also understand this fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi over here, for the first time, is interacting one-to-one with all these 20 wealth fund managers and institutional investors. This gives the message that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi wants to understand the sense of these global investors, that what actually is in their mind. We know this fact that we are inching towards year end. Now, this is a time primarily the global investors tend to wind up their positions from the stock markets or in various assets wherever they have invested. But these are uncertain times of COVID pandemic. Most of things are happening for the first time in this COVID-19 pandemic. Generally, we have seen a trend that these global investors tend to wind up their positions, and they look for new positions from a new year primarily. That is a budget time as well. So just ahead of the union budget that India will be presenting in 2021. And during the year-end time, it is the best time to attract these global investors as of now, as to how can India offer them a value investing for them as well, number one. Number two, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also try to do a SWOT analysis of these global investors. And of course, we'll try to understand that what exactly is a SWOT analysis by these global investors according to them. That means what is the strength of India that they think? Second, where are the weaknesses that India is offering as of now? If in case there's more structural reforms that needs to be done, what are those structural reforms that can be done? So that's a weakness that Prime Minister Narendra Modi would want to listen from these global institutional investors and wealth fund managers. Where is India offering opportunities in comparison with other global peers, be it Singapore, be it Japan, be it South Korea, be it China, be it US, be it Europe. So when we talk about all these global markets and the global peers, where is India standing and where are the opportunities as compared to these global peers? And of course, what are the threats going forward as far as Indian economy is concerned? And of course, various reforms that have been undertaken. So Prime Minister interacting one-on-one with all these global investors also sends a message globally that yes, India is keen for and looking forward to make some changes in the structural reform and also keen to make some kind of reforms as well. We should not forget this fact that countdown has primarily started for the union budget as well for 2021. Soon in 2021, within no time, within 2 to 3 months, union budget will be presented. So what more can be done as far as budget is concerned to attract more and more investors? Because the Indian government as of now is struggling to keep the fiscal deficit number in check because of the fact that because of COVID-19 pandemic, yes, the revenue collection or the revenue generation is a major cause of concern for the government. So on the other side, government has also to ensure various socialistic measure that it is taking, be it the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, be it Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana. So from providing Rozgar, that means employment, to providing a free ration to the people of our country, India has given a sense that yes, we are focusing on Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. That means 80 crore people will be fed. Now, these are the socialistic measure that India has undertaken. But how can, more reforms can be done, ensuring that revenue generation can take place? And with that context, in that context only, Amrit, it is very much important to understand from these global institutional investors as well.
All right. So, Arun, basically you're saying two things. You're saying India is an attractive destination for them because of the structural reforms. Okay, Arun, I'll stop you. I think we have the Prime Minister coming live. Let's go over live to the virtual global investor roundtable.
Namaste. Greetings on the festival season. I am delighted to welcome you I'm happy to see your eagerness to enhance your engagement with us. I hope that our better understanding of each other's perspective will result in a better alignment of your plans and our vision. Friends, through this year, as India bravely fought the global pandemic, the world saw India's national character. The world also saw India's true strength. It is successfully brought out traits that Indians are known for: a sense of responsibility, a spirit of compassion, national unity, the spark of innovation. India has shown remarkable resilience in this pandemic, be it fighting the virus or ensuring economic stability. This resilience is driven by the strength of our systems, support of our people, and stability of our policies. It is because of the strength of our systems that we could provide food grains to around 800 million people, money to 420 million people, and free cooking gas to around 80 million families. It is because of the support of the people who practice social distancing and wearing of masks that India has given such a strong fight to the virus. It is because of the stability of our policies that India has emerged as one of the world's preferred investment destinations. Friends, we are building a new India which is free of old practices. Today, India is changing, and for the better. From fiscal responsibility to fiscal prudence, from high inflation to low inflation, from reckless lending creating non-performing assets to merit-based lending, from infrastructure deficit to infrastructure surplus, from mismanaged urban growth to holistic and balanced growth, and from physical to digital infrastructure. Friends, India's quest to become Atmanirbhar is not just a vision but a well-planned economic strategy. A strategy that aims to use the capabilities of our businesses and skills of our workers to make India into a global manufacturing powerhouse. A strategy that aims to use our strength in technology to become the global center for innovations. A strategy that aims to contribute to global development using our immense human resources and their talents. Friends, today, investors are moving towards companies which have a high environmental, social, and governance score. India already has systems and companies which rank high on this. India believes in following the path of growth with equal focus on ESG. Friends, India offers you democracy, demography, demand, as well as diversity, such as our diversity that you get multiple markets within one market. This comes with multiple pocket size and multiple preferences. This comes with multiple weathers and multiple levels of development. This diversity also comes with open minds and open markets in a democratic, inclusive, and law-abiding system. Friends, I'm aware that I'm addressing some of the best financial brains, the ones who can convert new areas of innovation and growth into sustainable business propositions. At the same time, I'm conscious of your requirement to provide the funds in your trust the best and safest long-term returns. Therefore, friends, I would like to emphasize that our approach is of finding long-term and sustainable solutions for issues. Such an approach mixes very well with your requirement. Let me explain using a few examples. Friends, we have taken multiple initiatives to improve our manufacturing potential. We ushered in one nation and one tax system in the form of GST. One of the lowest corporate tax rates and an aided incentive for new manufacturing. Faceless regime for income tax assessment and appeal. A new labor laws regime balancing the welfare of workers and ease of doing business for the employers. Production-linked incentive schemes in specific sectors. An empowered institutional arrangement to handhold investors. Friends, we have an ambitious plan to invest $1.5 trillion under the National Infrastructure Pipeline. A pioneering multimodal connectivity infrastructure master plan is being finalized. India has embarked on a massive infrastructure building spree of highways, railways, metros, waterways, airports across the country. We are building millions of affordable houses for the new middle class. We want investment not just in big cities, but smaller cities and towns too. GIFT City in Gujarat is a good example of that. We are implementing mission mode schemes for development of such cities. Friends, just like our strategy for strengthening manufacturing base and for building world-class infrastructure, our strategy for financial sector has also been holistic. Some of the major steps undertaken by us include comprehensive banking sector reforms, strengthening of financial markets, unified authority for the international financial service centers, one of the most liberal FDI regime, a benign tax regime for foreign capital, suitable policy regime for investment vehicles like infrastructure investment trust and real estate investment trust, implementation of insolvency and bankruptcy code, financial empowerment through direct benefit transfer and fintech based payment system like RuPay cards and Beam UPI. Friends, initiatives around innovation and digital have always been at the center of government policies and reform. We have one of the largest number of startups and unicorns in the world. We are still growing very fast. The growth rate in 2019 translate into an average of 2 to 3 startups getting set up every day. Friends, our government has taken various steps to enable private enterprise to flourish. Strategic disinvestment and monetization of assets on a scale not been before. Historic decision to bring down our share in public sector undertakings to below 51%. Policy regime for private participation in new sectors like coal, space, atomic energy, railways, civil aviation, and defense. New public sector undertakings, policy for rationalized footprint of public sector. Friends, today, each sector in India is looking up manufacturing, infrastructure, technology, agriculture, finance, and even social sectors like health and education. Our recent reforms in agriculture open up new possibilities to partner with the farmers in India. With the help of technology and modern processing solutions, India will soon emerge as an agriculture export hub. National education policy allows setting up a foreign university campus here. National Digital Health Mission provides scope for fintechs. Friends, I am happy that global investor community has been showing confidence in our future. The last 5 months have seen a 13% rise in FDI inflows compared to last year. Your active participation in this roundtable increases the confidence even more. Friends, if you want returns with reliability, India is the place to be. If you want demand with democracy, India is the place to be. If you want stability with sustainability, India is the place to be. If you want growth with a green approach, India is the place to be. Friends, India's growth has the potential to catalyze global economic resurgence. Any achievements by India will have a multiplier impact on world's development and welfare. A strong and vibrant India can contribute to stabilization of the world economic order. We will do whatever it takes to make India the engine of global growth resurgence. There is an exciting period of progress ahead. I invite you to be a part of it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your vision for India. The prospects for investors are exciting, and the willingness of the government to engage with them is heartening. A special thank you to the investors who have participated in this meeting from all over the world, especially for their engagement and most importantly for the trust and faith they have placed in all of us through their investments in India. Thanks to the Honorable Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs and the Honorable Minister of State for Finance and Corporate Affairs for their participation, engagement, and support for this event, to the esteemed regulators, senior government officials, and the Indian business leaders. Once travel restrictions around the world ease, we hope to arrange a similar meeting in person so that we can take our discussions and relationships to the next level. Thank you and namaskar.
So that was the Prime Minister chairing the Global Virtual Global Investor Summit, which the Prime Minister addressed, where he said basically that he projected India to the international investors, that how a vibrant India can contribute to the stabilization of the world economic growth. He said, he assured the global institutional investors that we will do whatever it takes to make India the engine of global growth resurgence. He said, if you want returns with reliability, India is the place to be. If you want demand with democracy, India is the place to be. If you want stability and with sustainability, India is the place to be. If you want growth with a green approach, India is the place to be. The Prime Minister clearly wooing the international investor, putting out the advantages that the Indian ecosystem gives to the international investors to come and invest. He spoke about the recent reforms in the agriculture sector. He said which opens up new and exciting possibilities to partner with the farmers of India. He said with the help of technology and modern processing solutions, India will soon emerge as an agriculture export hub. Listing out India's strengths, he said India offers you democracy, demography, demand as well as diversity. He said that such is the diversity of India that it gives you multiple markets within one market. He says this comes with multiple pocket sizes and multiple preferences. He said it comes with multiple weathers, multiple level of developments. The Prime Minister said today investors are moving towards companies which have high environmental, social and governance score, and India already has the systems and companies which rank high on this. He said India believes in following the path of growth with equal focus on ESG. The Prime Minister said that India's quest to become Atmanirbhar is not just a vision but a planned economic strategy. And so the Prime Minister spoke about all this to get a reaction on how what the Prime Minister said at this virtual global investor summit. I'm joined by S.K. Jindal. He's the chairman of the investment and capital market of ASSOCHAM. Mr. Jindal, many thanks for joining us. My opening question to you, you must have listened to the Prime Minister's remarks at this investor summit.
Yes,
what did you make of it?
Very impressive, very impactful, and it brings confidence to hear from the Prime Minister's mouth about the nation, what they are up to, because all the policies are finally decided by PMO. So they come to know what exactly is happening and what is the thought process, what they can expect from India. And I found it was very, very impressive and very, very assuring messages that is quite clear what an investor needs about return on investment, about where he's putting his money, how it will grow, what kind of potential we have in India, and all those things what we have experienced. He shared all those good things with them so that they know what they can expect from us.
Okay. The Prime Minister, spoke about the strengths that India as a destination, investment destination offers to the global investor. He says it's more than anything else, it is the stability of the regime, the reforms undertaken, and the diversity that the Indian market offers to them. He says it offers them, he said it offers them multiple markets within one market, multiple preferences, multiple pocket sizes, the sort of diversity which comes with, you know, a subcontinent, not just a country like India.
Yes, you see, he was presenting all his best points so that when I look at this proposal, I as an investor would like to see what is the potential on all these fronts. And if I hear him for some other if I hear some other country's president or prime minister giving these kind of assurances, I will feel comfortable to invest in those. But if I don't hear that, I will not know what exactly can I expect there. And in a short 15 to 20 minutes speech, he was able to deliver what exactly was needed for investors to make their mind that to go or not to go in India for their investments. So that is the best part. He assured that you can get demand here, you can get stability here, you will get sustainability here, you will get growth here. So all these things are the things which one needs today. And if they are not available, people will not invest in us. And if we don't tell them, we don't expect that they will make their own study and they will know. We have to tell them. And that is what he has done. And this will, I personally feel that this will bring good results, because people, when they hear from him, that is different story. And if they hear from down below, then they are not sure that what they are saying is actually going to happen.
Okay. You know, Mr. Jindal, the Prime Minister mentioned about how the country has fought this pandemic, come out of it, ensuring economic stability. What was he trying to convey to the international investor?
That we are very, very alert, and we are, this was also our priority, the health of our people. They should not have suffered more than necessary. And we did everything what was required, and we took proactive approach to make the sufferings least possible for them. And such a country, if it is so active in its approach, then it means it's a efficient management, efficient governance, and these kind of things are important. Suppose you talk about our neighbors, they will not have any confidence in them because they know there are a lot of constraints. So one has to put, as a corporate also, we have to put our best foot forward always, so that investor feels his money is safe, his principal is safe. Return little bit less or more is not so serious, but everybody wants his principal safe, and he wants to bring it to a place where it is respected most. The money always flows to destinations where it is respected most.
Okay.
And that is how you have to explain as a country, as a leader of the country, that in India, we will respect your money the most.
Okay. So you're saying that he was putting forward the resilience and the strength of the systems, the stability of the government policies?
Yes, and these are the things which really matter for an investor to decide that where I am putting my money. Is this a good place? And with examples, what other people have done, what other investors have done. If they come to know other investors have also put their money in India, then it gives them assurance, okay, we can also put some money there.
So you're saying the stability factor gives the investor the confidence that his money is safe in a destination like India. And then, of course, he talks about the dividend of demand, and that is what the investor, the other thing the investor looks at, apart from the safety of his principal, the return on his investment.
Sure. You see, nowadays, as you were discussing before the event, that in return on debt funds in our country is 6 to 7%.
Okay.
In some countries, even equities are not giving this kind of return. In our country, the return on equity is about 15%. I'm talking about little long term. So that kind of return, why people are investing into India? Because that kind of return is not available at other places. But it is our duty to present our case in the best possible way so that it helps them to decide and it helps them to make a better decision about their investment, about their money. It is our responsibility to let them know the facts. And if we tell them, it becomes easy for them to make a good decision, good quality decision.
Okay.
Our goal for $5 trillion economy, people think, investors think, suppose even if it is not achieved, if they have high target of $5 trillion, even if it becomes $4.5 trillion, there is enough economic growth during this period. So they think that this is the best option available. So then they tend to divert towards India rather than other countries. Taxation,
yes.
15%. Reforms, big ticket reforms has taken place in India and such a strong government at command. So all these things, they give confidence and they bring money in. Suppose these facts are not like this and they are otherwise, then you will see that money will not come to India.
Okay. Mr. Jindal, you're an investor yourself. First, tell me, if we as a country offer the consumption or the population dividend, so does, say, a country like China. Why is then India, why would India be a more attractive destination for a global investor? While the Prime Minister talks about stability, probably the systems of China would argue that, well, our stability is more. So where does the democracy come into play? How does it play on the global investor's mind?
You see, one thing is there that investor doesn't want to put all his eggs in one basket. So he tries that his money should be in at least 5-7 places, so that even if one market tomorrow goes bad, other 5-6 investment will take care of it and he will not be at a big loss. Second thing,
okay.
China also has a time surprised
Mr. Jindal, I'm sorry, I'll have to interrupt you, and thank you for joining us. Time for us to go over live to another event where our Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is speaking on India's relations with our neighbouring countries.
गोरखा रेजिमेंट का इतिहास बहुत ही गौरवशाली है। कभी कभी कुछ भारत विरोधी शक्तियां इन दोनों देशों नेपाल और भूटान के बीच संबंध खराब करने के लिए कुछ ऐसे मुद्दों को हवा देती हैं जिसका कोई आधार नहीं होता। इसके बावजूद हमने हमेशा भाइयों की तरह मिल बैठकर बात करके हर समस्या का हल ढूंढा। जहां तक बांग्लादेश का प्रश्न है, जब से वहां पर शेख हसीना जी आई, प्रधानमंत्री बनी, हमारे भारत के साथ उनके बहुत ही अच्छे रिश्ते हैं। एक बहुत बड़ा बदलाव रिश्तों में आया है, सी चेंज देखने को मिला है। बांग्लादेश के साथ ऐतिहासिक समझौता पर हमने दशकों पुराने इनक्लेव्स का आदान प्रदान करके हजारों लोगों की जिंदगी में नई सुबह लाने का भी काम किया है। यह भी कामयाबी हमको मिली है। और बांग्लादेश में भारत विरोधी ताकतों के खिलाफ कार्रवाई की गई है और सीमा पर भी दोनों देशों के बीच बेहतर तालमेल बना हुआ है और हर तरह की स्मगलिंग और इलीगल इमिग्रेशन पर भी काफी हद तक रोक लगी है। और हमारा एक और महत्वपूर्ण पड़ोसी है, क्योंकि सीमा से लगे हुए सारे देश हैं, इसलिए चर्चा कर रहा हूं, म्यांमार, जिसके साथ हाल में भारत के रिश्ते और अधिक मजबूत हुए हैं। हम म्यांमार के साथ कूटनीतिक, सामरिक और रक्षा संबंधों को मजबूती दे रहे हैं। क्षेत्रीय सुरक्षा को ध्यान में रखते हुए भारत म्यांमार के संबंधों का बेहतर होना यह भारत के लिए भी एक शुभ संकेत है। जहां लैंड बाउंड्री की रक्षा जरूरी है, वही हम भारत की मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी और डिफेंस भी हमारे लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। भारत दुनिया की टॉप 5 अर्थव्यवस्थाओं में से इस समय एक है। भारत की ज्योग्राफिक लोकेशन ऐसी है कि भारत अपनी इकोनॉमी के साथ साथ ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी और ट्रेड की दृष्टि से भी बड़ी भूमिका निभा रहा है। मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी और कोऑपरेशन को बढ़ाने के लिए भारत ने एक स्ट्रेटेजिक विजन की संकल्पना की है, जिसे हम सिक्योरिटी एंड ग्रोथ फॉर ऑल इन द रीजन, यानी सागर के नाम से जानते हैं। और सागर के द्वारा हमारे अपने तटीय पड़ोसियों के साथ आर्थिक और सुरक्षा सहयोग को बढ़ावा मिला है और इनके द्वारा मानवीय सहायता के लिए पायरेसी और आतंक को कम करने में भी काफी मदद मिली है। और हिंद महासागर का पूरा इलाका आप देखिए, यहां पर भारतीय नौसेना नेट सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइडर की भूमिका में है। मैं आप लोगों को यह बताना चाहूंगा कि इंडियन नेवी और कोस्ट गार्ड ने एक ऐसा भरोसा और विश्वास अन्य देशों के अंदर पैदा किया है कि उन्हें वे इंडियन ओशन में सबसे बड़े संकट मोचक के रूप में दिखाई देते हैं। आज दुनिया की बड़ी से बड़ी नौसेनाएं भारत के साथ मिलकर अभ्यास करना चाहती हैं। 3 नवंबर से आपको जानकारी होगी, बंगाल की खाड़ी में मालाबार एक्सरसाइज चल रही है, जिसमें भारत के साथ साथ अमेरिका, जापान और इस बार ऑस्ट्रेलिया भी मिलकर संयुक्त युद्धाभ्यास कर रहे हैं। इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन में यह एक्सरसाइज सभी देशों को सुरक्षा का एहसास कराती है और आज भारत की मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी एवं डिफेंस पहले से काफी मजबूत है और पायरेसी और नारकोटिक्स के खिलाफ प्रभावी कार्रवाई की जा रही है। साथ ही हमारे नौसैनिक ह्यूमैनिटेरियन रिलीफ और डिजास्टर प्रिवेंशन में भी बेहद सक्रिय हैं। पिछले दिनों कोस्ट गार्ड ने श्रीलंका के पास एक ऑयल टैंकर में लगी भयंकर आग को जान पर खेलकर बुझाया और एक बहुत बड़ी एनवायरमेंटल ट्रेजेडी होने से बचा लिया और अपने पड़ोसी देशों के साथ संबंधों को और मजबूती देने के लिए लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट की सुविधा को और भी तेजी से हम लोगों ने आगे बढ़ाया है। उदाहरण के तौर पर भारत ने अफ्रीका के कई देशों के साथ स्वास्थ्य के क्षेत्र में कई सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स इंप्लीमेंट किए हैं। इससे हमारे संबंधों में और अधिक मजबूती आई है। कोविड के संकट के दौरान भी हम अपने पड़ोसी राष्ट्रों की सीमित संसाधनों के बावजूद काफी क्रिटिकल लेवल पर मदद की है और इसमें डॉक्टर से लेकर चिकित्सा उपकरण, दवाइयां, पीपीई किट की आपूर्ति सभी शामिल हैं। नेपाल, मालदीव, मॉरिशस, कोमोरोस, सेशल्स, मेडागास्कर आज 100 से अधिक राष्ट्रों को हमने चिकित्सकीय सहायता उपलब्ध कराई है। आज हमने हमारे पड़ोस की अवधारणा को भी और व्यापक स्वरूप प्रदान किया है।
So that was Defence Minister Rajnath Singh speaking at a function through video, addressing a function of a newspaper through video conferencing, talking about it. The theme was Bharat ki baat seemaएं और हमारे पड़ोसी, India's borders and our neighbours. So the Defence Minister touched upon various issues, how our relationship with our neighbours is, especially the ones we share our borders with. Well, going back to the Prime Minister's address at the virtual Global Investor Summit, I'm still joined by S.K. Jindal. He's the chairman of the Investment and Capital Funds over from ASSOCHAM. Mr. Jindal, finally, one final question to you. What do you think was the key central message that the global investors would have got today from the Prime Minister's remarks to them?
After hearing Prime Minister remarks, they could easily make out that where is India standing and where are the other options.
Okay.
And they can distinguish very well that India is a very solid, stable, reliable, capable platform to put their money in, and that is how they will appreciate and they will come towards us, because the future lies in India. And this is proven by the Prime Minister with facts and figures that this is already happening. And if we don't tell them ourselves,
who will?
It will be very difficult for them to collect so much information which PM gave in 15 minutes to them.
Okay. S.K. Jindal, many thanks for joining us and sharing your insights with us. So, the Prime Minister putting out the message that India is the place to be if you wish to grow, if you want to be in a resilient, sustainable, dynamic, yet a stable investment environment. Well, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.